Should I tell her or you?
He's gonna come for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to our lecturer, Dr. Adzrin Ahmad. Our group have choose Don't Breathe 2 as our movie review for this CRG650 with its corporate governance and business ethics. So basically, this is our group members, which is ADANI binti Abdul Aziz, NURIN FARHANAH binti Mama Ani, NURHIDAYAH binti HASBULLAH, SYAZANA binti Fadil, and NURHIDAYAH NADHIRAH binti Muhammad SATAR. We are from 6A.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is SYAZANA binti Fadil. So I will continue to explain the synopsis of the movie Don't Breathe 2. The main story of Don't Breathe 2 takes place roughly 8 years after the event of the first film. The blind man, real name Norman Nordstrom, is fully recovered from his fatal encounter with Rocky and her friends. Nordstrom is still living in Detroit and raising a daughter named Phoenix, Madeline Grace, who is mostly kept inside and believed that Norman is her father and her mother died in a house fire. Phoenix and Norman's reclusive life are put in danger after he agreed to let her go into town with a friend. This is where a group of creepy men set their sight on Phoenix and hatch a plan to take her from the blind man. But neither of them knows that the leader of the group, Ryland, which is Brandon Saxton III, is Phoenix's actual father from before Norman found her after her original home burned down. Next, Don't Breathe 2 builds towards a complicated final that puts the blind man in a position to save Phoenix, whose real name is Tara, from her real parents. The antagonists reveal that Tara's real mom is still alive but slowly dying from the effect of the house fire and poisoning caused by regularly cooking meat. Tara's parents' plan is to use her heart as a transplant for the mom, who is the meth lab's cook, so she and their drugs business can stay alive. However, the blind man arrives before the illegal operation begins and shut off the power. He proceeds to kill most of Ryland's henchmen and the doctor, while Ryland accidentally kills his wife in the couch. It all leads to the blind man going out Ryland's eyes, Ryland seemingly killing the blind man, and Tara killing her father before charting a new course for her life.
Okay, hi, hello everyone. My name is ADANI. So I will continue on the stakeholders and its stakes. So basically there are two main stakeholders in this movie that I choose, which are Ryland's Phoenix's real father and the blind man Norman. So for each stakeholder, I will tell you two of their stakes in this movie. For the first one, Ryland, which also the villain in this movie, first, he actually wants to get a new heart for his wife who is sick. The only way for his wife to be alive is by replacing her heart. He loves his wife so much that he is willing to do anything possible even though the decision is unethical. The second stake of Ryland is he has a mission to kidnap and trap his own daughter with his thug's help. Ryland wants to turn Phoenix into an unwilling organ donor to his wife. He paid a surgeon to do the organ transplant in an unhygienic location with no proper drugs and tools, while Phoenix is alive and still awake. So, however, the mission failed. Another main stakeholder in this movie is the blind man, Norman. He is the one who took care of Phoenix, who he identifies as his daughter. Phoenix is not really his daughter, but Norman found her a long time ago when she is still young. She is still little in the middle of the street near an exploded house. And Norman decided to take her home as to replace his dead daughter. So Norman took care of the girl. True to his nature, Norman raised Phoenix as a survivalist and a relative shut in. And the second stake of Norman is he wants to save his daughter from the thugs. At the same time, he wants to revenge to Raylan and his thugs for kidnapping Phoenix because they want to prepare her for organ transplant. The thugs did not know that they are actually dealing with a war veteran who was intimately familiar with every square foot of the place. And he even has a sharp sense, even though he is blind. So it makes him kill all the thugs except for one person who helped him in the end.
The first ethical dilemma of the villain is whether to save his daughter from Norman, the blinded guy who took away from his family after the burned down house incident, whether to save his lovely wife, life, or let his daughter named Tara be alive. As we know, Tara was found by Norman collapsing on the ground in front of her burning house. Later, Tara was adopted by Norman and named Phoenix. Norman raised her and took care of her until she became a teenager. Norman taught him about survival since she was a child. Raylan becomes the leader of a gang of organ thieves who try to find his daughter in order to find her biological child. The second one is whether to save his lovely wife's life or let his daughter named Tara being alive. Phoenix meets her birth mother and she explained that she had bad blood due to the explosion. Her mother reveals that she needed her heart. To make matters worse, because they did not have the drugs and facility, Phoenix would be completely afraid when the surgeon wants to remove her heart. So, Raylan had an ethical dilemma as a husband and a father. Is it a good way to save his wife or his daughter?
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is NURHIDAYAH binti Muhammad SATAR. My ID number is 2020608784. Okay, I will continue our presentation with the ethical dilemma. I will continue the presentation with ethical dilemma of the hero and heroine. Ethical dilemma of the hero and heroine in this movie. The hero is the blind man and the heroine is his adopted daughter, which is Phoenix. The dilemma of heroine is whether she wants to give her heart to help her mom or have a normal life as a normal kid. It is because when she stay with the blind man doesn't give her chance to go school and just give his adopted child to have a homeschool. At the same time, her mom sick and need help from Phoenix because their parents only have one child which is Phoenix. Her mom really needs the heart to stay alive but use the wrong way. Their parents don't get permission from Phoenix to take her heart. So Phoenix in dilemma want to help her mother or choose to live a normal life. Next is the dilemma of hero is whether to help his adopted daughter or give up because he blind and don't know where kidnapper take Phoenix. The blind man know the kidnapper is parent of his adopted daughter, so he don't have authority to take back Phoenix. But at the same time, he very love his daughter and don't trust Phoenix's parents. Other than that, the blind man doesn't know where they go, so the blind man in dilemma want to help his adopted daughter or just give up.
Sequentialism is a theory that says whether something is good or bad depends on its outcome. An action that brings about more benefit than harm is good, while an action that causes more harm than benefit is not. Sometimes bad things happen for a good reason. Raylan have to kidnap his biological daughter to save his wife due to terminal illness, so his wife can receive an organ transplant from her biological daughter. As a villain character, Raylan has to sacrifice his daughter in order to save his wife's life. Raylan shows that he is not a good father to Tara, as he should protect his daughter from any harms. This is a sad fact that Raylan sacrificed his daughter.
Next, I will continue with the action taken by hero from the deontologist's point of view. The definition of deontologist is an approach to ethics that focus on the rightness and wrongness of their action themselves as opposed to the consequence of those actions. A deontologist motive a decision or action rather than the consequence of their action. The blind man knew that someone wanted to kill him because when he knew his dog died, was killed by the kidnapper. The blind man decided to save his adopted daughter as he knew Fonny had nothing to do with the kidnapper. Fonny just found out about the kidnapper when someone entered her room and hid from them. In this movie, the action taken by hero from a deontologist's point of view is the act of the blind man to save Fonny is the right things to do because Fonny's parents will harm her life and take her in illegal way. The motive of act of the blind man to save his adopted daughter is to help Fonny be murdered by her parents. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURHIDAYAH and I will continue explaining about the ethical action based on golden rule in Don't Breath. So, what is golden rule? Golden rule often described as putting yourself in someone else's shoes, or we can say that golden rule is do unto others as you have them to do unto you. Now let's move on to the next slide, which is we will relate the golden rule in the movie, which is in Don't Breath 2. So the first ethical action that we see is we need to treat others with respect if we want to be respected. So in this movie, we can see that instead of trying to kill Norman, which is the blind man in Don't Breath 2, Raylan, which is the villain in the movie, should be thankful and make peace between them. So for second point, which is be a good father. Why we choose this statement? Because if you all watch this movie, you all can see that Raylan, which is the father of Onyx, he wants her daughter hard to make sure that his wife alive. But the action that Raylan take is illegal because he take it without permission of her daughter. Next is be kind to others and yourself. So if Raylan are kind, which is not involved in murder, do not do any violence, and do not kill the main hero, it can improve other people's life, and also in return he can reap the benefit at the end. Now we will proceed to the next slide, which we will focus on the villain feelings based on the action that they did in the movie. So the first feeling that the villain should have felt in the action that they did in the movie is first forgiveness. Since Norman has arrived Onyx, like his own daughter, Raylan, the villain in the movie, should give Norman a forgiveness, as Norman taking care of his daughter with love and safety until she becomes a teenager and able to survive. And then second is shameful, which is Raylan should be ashamed of his action in trying to steal his daughter's heart by betraying his daughter's loyalty. And next is guilty, which Raylan should feel bad for being rude to others when they are being nice to him. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
So here the conclusion of the movie. Don't Breathe 2 ending is really about family finding a home outside that once someone is born into, and even forgiveness. The entire movie is built into around Fiona's two very different fatherly figures. While they battle for her affection, Phoenix is also contemplating going in a completely different direction to start her life anew. In the end, she chose to do just that, but also keeps a part of her past with Norman by deliberately choosing the name she gave him. After spending the last 8 years with the blind man and watching him rescue her from the death, Phoenix come to realize that her life with Norman was better than what she would have had elsewhere.